let me get my stuff set up. Let me get the chat. I really need to. Is this the right thing? Sure. URL. Cool. What's up? What's up, Laquavius? I am just doing. I don't like that part of my screen, the chat part. I want to make it transparent. One second. I'm gonna try to make it transparent. Yes. Give me CSS for my YouTube chat to make the background transparent. Hopefully that works. But anyways, what's it called? What you get at Taco Bell. I'll judge you harshly based on your answer. Let me see if this works. Hopefully this works. That's better, I guess. Oh, sure, that's probably better. 5 items on the value menu, so that's basic. What area are you in, Laquavius? I feel like in Georgia, the value menu is probably $1.60 to $2. $11. I guess that's normal. $2 an item. Actually, I think some stuff is. I think this stuff is kind of like variable, right? Do you guys see the Florida? Do you guys see the black screen? Okay, I kind of want to get rid of that black screen. Okay, I'll just do this black screen right here. Cool. Is that too big? Yeah, whatever. Okay. But yep, just felt like doing. Just felt like doing a stream for once because might as well setting up my new paddle. But yeah, at Taco Bell, I typically get I think I like the value menu beef burrito with like the little tortilla chips inside. Don't know if you have that one there. I think that's probably the grilled cheese burrito is pretty, or like the grilled, I guess it's grilled cheese burrito, where they like press the burrito. That one's pretty good, but it's just a little pricey. I'm just using the True Foam, sticking with my Carbon 4 True Foam waves. I tried the Carbon 2 True Foam waves, and it was a little bit worse in my opinion. I added the same setup, and it just felt a little bit more dead towards the edges, surprisingly, and the sweet spot was just a little bit. I guess it was poppier in the sweet spot, which I just don't want because I want it consistent throughout the face. Oh, you got the crunchy beef burrito thing. Good choice. Actually, let me see what I would get right now on my phone. Taco Bell app. Oh, I don't go there frequently, so that's why I have to download it. What did I think about the RPM? I like the RPM a lot, actually. I tried the 14 millimeter. I played pretty well with it from the start. Didn't have to add any weight or anything. Probably one of my. I rated I rated it a 9 on my pickle list, so that's probably on par with all my highest ratings. Yeah, I just felt like I could just shape the ball wherever I wanted it to go, which is always good. Resets were not too bad. A little higher, but just because it's poppier. Lots of power and stuff, so that's always fun. What's up, Van Allen Vlogs? Go Spurs. Which Spurs are you talking about? I'm a basketball guy, so I only know the San Antonio Spurs, but I know they also call the Spurs for like the soccer team, which I don't watch soccer. All right, I can get behind that. But yeah, to finish my thought on the RPM, I did like it a lot. I would be interested in the wide body to just to see how it plays, but prioritize like different paddles so far just to get more variety. But that seems like it would be a good one. My friend had it actually, and actually a lot of my friends bought RPMs recently on the Black Friday sale, so probably get. But everyone likes elongated, so they all have elongated ones except for my one friend. How are the Spurs doing this season? I don't really keep up with basketball much anymore, so yeah, I saw that the Ignanowicz got what's it called, banned or cut off, I guess. I felt like it was not as good as the Pro 4. Hmm. I never really played with the Pro 4 much. Well, at least the Perseus. I did a review on the Scorpius, but it was a while back, so it's kind of hard to tell. I think I probably got better since then, so now my ratings are a little bit. I guess I can play better with worser paddles or at least paddles I'm not used to. So maybe my ratings are a little bit different, but I did like the spinniness of the RPM, at least the one that I tried. But to be a fair comparison, I probably should have tried the 14 millimeter Perseus and compared to that. Just don't have enough time for that. I'll wait for the Yola Pro 5 to come out. That's a thing apparently. Oh, the Western Conference fine. Oh, the NBA Cup Finals against OKC. How's that work? Aren't they in this? I guess it's not East versus West on the NBA Cup. But I feel like every year, like the first year was like Lakers versus Indiana, but maybe it just so happened to be East and West. Oh yeah, the Spurs are doing really good, 17-7. But yeah, what do you guys think about the PPA thing? I guess I'll get started on my paddle. So right here we have my current main, the Carbon 4 True Foam Waves. This is my current paddle right here. See a lot more used. Maybe you can't tell, but the top is pretty bad. Like my edge, my lead tape is like all messed up. Oh, I need to be better on camera. But yeah, my current setup, ethos grip, flick weight, lead tape strips at like 4 and 8 o'clock, right above the curve. This is the carbon tungsten tape, the weighted one. And I got some lead tape strips on the top just to add some extra sweet spot. The current waves I felt like has a little bit smaller of a sweet spot than normal, so I had to add that weight on. That being said, I heard a rumor, not sure if it's true or not, that the second batch or the newer batches of the carbon waves are better. This is before it released, so definitely not the new batch. This one right here should be the new batch. I just got it today in the mail, but we'll see. I guess the only way to tell is to play with it. Okay, let me catch back up on the chat. Okay, I'll just do the NBA one first. Oh, not NBA. It's PPA. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm more of a if it was in the contract. I mean, it's definitely disappointing. I definitely don't want you know them to lose their, I guess, job with the PPA. But depending on what the contract was or what they did, I don't think it's that detailed what they actually did. So I'm not sure. I don't want to speak on that. But let's say if it was like clearly states you cannot, play a tournament, and they did play a tournament, I guess I can see that. I can understand why they did it. If it was like a more of like a gray area, then maybe it's like more unfortunate. But yeah, I hope James Anadowicz does well with RPM and stuff. It seems like it's doing really well so far. So hopefully he can grow that now and perhaps make something else other than PPA popular. And that's always good to have more competition. Makes everyone have to be better. Yeah, I don't know what they're like. I could understand why Kwang Dong was terminated because he was like actively doing stuff. If they were doing stuff like that, like I can understand, have to keep it consistent. But yeah, it's hard to tell, I guess, with all the details they gave so far. I'm not. I don't keep track of the Asia PPA stuff or pickleball stuff in general too much, but assuming Guangdong's doing really well there and is growing the sport over there, I think it's a good thing overall for pickleball just to have more places where it's popular and just grow the sport everywhere, not just PPA. I'm sponsored by Carbon, so I get it for free. Hello, Pray today. I am in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. I live in the suburbs. Oh, I guess it's not a rumor. I guess PB Studios said it. But yeah, I'll definitely make an update on after I play with this. What is the pickle yard? I'm not too familiar with that. But yeah, I just finished playing Helen. A lot of people like Helen, so I played some 5-0 plus games with Helen and two other like higher 5-0s. And I was using my Carbon True Foam Waves, and it was playing pretty good. I think I was honestly maybe the most consistent one. Okay, maybe not the most consistent one. Maybe the second most consistent one. I wasn't missing too much on my resets or anything, so definitely think this is still a good paddle if you have the right setup. It's just very heavy for most people, which is why I probably wouldn't recommend it to the majority of people. But if you do like the feel of the True Foams, then I think it's good. Hopefully, if this one has a better sweet spot, the new one, then I can add less weight and maybe be a little bit more, I can swing a little faster or whatnot. I think it doesn't make too much of a difference at my current level. It's not like I'm losing, hands battles by a split second or anything. I think if I know it's there, I usually get it. I'm not like complaining about the extra weight. This is probably 9.2 for reference. Yeah, I guess the only bad thing about playing, overseas is probably the level of play is not the same yet. Hopefully it gets there. I saw one video actually online. It was like I think some Asian guys, like some in Asia, they were like, "Are the 4-0s in Asia better than the four?" Like it was like saying it as if it was a fact that 4-0s in Asia are better than the U.S. And I was kind of like, interesting. I always heard the other way around. In Asia they're worse than the U.S. because they just got started. But in that video, it was making it seem, or at least the thumbnail or the title slash caption, they're like, are the 4-0s in Asia still better than the 4-0s in the U.S.? And I was like, very interesting. I didn't know it was the other way around. But what's up, Braden? Braden? Is it Braden? But it has an extra E. I guess. Never heard that. Never saw that spelling. But ooh, nice. What do you use, Braden? I'll just call you Braden until I'll call you Brooks. Actually, I'll call you Brooks. So what setup? Or what paddle do you use, Brooks? I need a. I heard the J2, J6 people like a lot, so I did like the J2 NF. I think I'm pretty sure I used the J2 NF. That was pretty good too. Definitely think they're a good company. I like their. They always got a lot of options and the newest stuff. So Breden. Okay, I got it right the first time. Overseas players are legit, especially at the PPA Pro level. Well, I believe they're legit. I just don't know if that claim was true that they're better. Like I wouldn't disrespect them or anything, but I wouldn't know. I would assume they're like the pros over there are like 5-0 versus the pros over here are like 6-0 plus. So I just assume from that category that they would be worse over there, but maybe I'm mistaken. But I guess also if the pros over there are 5-0, then maybe that means the 4-0s would be better because it's closer to pros. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making stuff up. What is all this J6CR? What is that? Is Cutie not everyone's daddy over there? I thought he wins a lot, but maybe I don't really keep up. Carbon Genesis 2 all the way. What's up, Ross? I can't read it. It's great. Ross Colt Rect Probe. Interesting username. But I do like the Carbon 2. I just like shiny new things like most people, so I've been switching to the waves. But Breden, my setup currently of my Carbon 4 is I got lead tape strips at 4 and 8 o'clock right above the curve using the weighted tungsten tape from Carbon. Got an Ethos undergrip right here. Carbon Ultra Tech overgrip. Flick weight on the bottom. And just 2 more because I felt like in the bigger sweet spot. Especially towards the top. How much lead did I use on the Genesis 2? Do I have my old setup? So my typical setup, sorry, this paddle was, I took off the grip off this paddle. But my typical setup in general is the same thing. I like the lead tape strips at 4 and 8 o'clock right above the curve. And then I usually have an Ethos undergrip, and I also have a flick weight on the bottom. My original strategy was just, or at least for me, I like being very consistent and I don't like missing. So I typically try to just enlarge the sweet spot as much as I can. But I do like, more wristy stuff. So I like to keep it more handle heavy so it's easier to flick and move around versus like very head heavy. So that's my typical setup. It feels very heavy. It's probably like, 8.5 to 9 ounces, depending on, other stuff. But everyone who feels it is like, oh, it's actually lighter than I thought, which is, it should feel like that because it's all in the handle. But yeah, that's just how much lead I have. I just have, probably like 3 grams on each side and then the flick weight. Plus the undergrip, which is weight. Okay, moving on. But yeah, what's the CR mean? I don't know what the CR is. I know the NF means notched foam. I don't even know what the FC means. There's That's the one thing about Honolulu. Their names are just too confusing for someone who doesn't study paddles, even for me. And I do reviews. So we have the brand new paddle right here. Has the, what's it called? NFC chip. Don't know if that's the right name. Just to validate that it's legit, I got it from them, so I'm just gonna trust them. So right here, I'm gonna take this off somehow. Okay, YOLO. I'm gonna rip it off. Diving board style. So I guess the original notched Honolulu NF has like little notches, like the, I guess more like that. But diving board is just like a Yola, I guess. The Yola propulsion core. Okay, so we're gonna take off this stuff. So it's diving board, but with all foam. I thought people said that the, what's it called? All the J2 NFFCs all felt kind of similar, or all were the same thing basically, but a little bit different. So is that the case, or are they actually pretty different? Because I feel like I never heard anyone say that they were significantly different. At least I think I just watched the PB Studio video on that, and then I think they were pretty similar. The one thing I did like about the upgrade from the True Foam Genesis to this one is that it was a full face fiberglass instead of the patch. I think I did notice the patch made stuff pop up in the middle a little more than the other parts, and I'm not a really good sweet spot hitter. All right, took off the packaging. Now we're gonna take off the stock grip. Let me make sure I actually have a grip to use. Okay. Looks like I don't have. Looks like all my ethoses are downstairs. What flick weight do you recommend? This one is 9 grams. On my waves, I use 7 grams, but that's what they sent me, so I don't really. I think 7 and 9 are probably my opinion, like my best bet for that. I think anything heavier, they had like an 18 one, that was way too. The 18 gram was kind of a lot too heavy for me. It just felt like the whole paddle kind of changed. These I feel like just help a good bit. I think 3 grams may be too small, so I would recommend 7 or 9. Yeah, I think if you definitely want to play with a waves that's weighted up. That's all I gotta say. Cause when I was playing stock, it was pretty bad. But I did come back from a long Asia trip, which is probably why I was extra bad. Actually, I was not even on my Asia trip yet when I played it the first time. So maybe I just think the stock paddle was a little rough. But back to what I was saying, yeah, I like the full carbon or fiberglass face, not just a patch. I think that was a good update. That would be probably my main complaint about the True Foam Genesis. For the most part, it's good, but sometimes I would hit like a spot and I was like, oh, that was a lot higher than my other shots. This one, I could get it pretty similar. So, I left my Ethos undergrips downstairs. I need to go get them, or should I try? Okay, should I try no Ethos today, or should I try Or should I just go get them? What do you guys think? I'll let you guys decide. But yeah, usually I put an Ethos undergrip like on this one, but I could technically... Okay, Ethos it is. Alright, I'll BRB. Don't leave. Okay, I am bad. It was actually in this room the whole time because I moved it here. All right, let's see what I missed. Tactile is king. How many paddles do I own? What's up, ASAP V? I own... Well, do you want to know different paddles or like actual physical paddles I own? Different paddles, I don't own much anymore. I got like one of every, well, at least one of every carbon. Yes, I was running. So slightly out of breath. Up the stairs and everywhere. I couldn't miss anything. But to answer your question, ASAP V, I have at least one of every carbon for the most part. On the ones that I actually main, I have at least like, probably like 2 or 3. I'll know how to do the math on that. But I have some old gearboxes I was sponsored by. I might give it to my brother though. So maybe I don't even have any. Because they all break. Or they all core crush and I'm just like, okay, I usually replace them or whatnot. Because gearbox was not as generous as carbon, so didn't get unlimited, stuff. Or like get sent more than one thing. I was a Vatic guy when I first started past my beginner paddle. So I had, and I was an ambassador, so I had I had the Flash first, and then I got the Alchemy with the one with the little V like thing that I really tried to like, but it was like, the same thing, nothing special. At that time, like everything was kind of like, I guess they were kind of similar as in Gen 2 paddles, but nothing like crazy until the gearbox. So the Alchemy was kind of like similar, maybe even worse than the regular Flash, but I tried to like it because it looked cooler. I think I sold that though. The Flash, I'm not sure if I have or not. And I think since the Gearbox Pro Power that I bought for $200 on Facebook Marketplace, I haven't bought a paddle since. Because after the Gearbox, I think I bought the Vatic Pro Oni just for fun because it was like popular at the time. And then it got banned. And then apparently I bought my brother a Saga. I didn't remember I bought him one, but apparently I did. So, yeah. I should have did a review on it. but I think that was before I did reviews. Just taking off the stock grip right now. Only the real OGs know about the Ben Johns Franklin. I was very close to buying a Ben Johns Franklin, I will say. Oh. Let me see if I have it right here. Well, that first paddle was, I don't have it, but it was like a helium paddle from a Costco pack, and I thought I could survive with that because I was beating people at Lifetime, like the local Lifetime, so not like even the pickleball Lifetime. So I was beating people with that, or at least like doing well. I was one of the better ones, other than the people who played a lot longer. And I was like, okay, I can win. And then I think one day I was like, I realized the ball was just spinning off my paddle when they sliced it hard or top spinned it hard, and then I was like, maybe paddle does matter a little bit. After 3 months of playing, it took me that long to realize that paddles mattered. Even back then, I can't even imagine right now. Right now, I feel like it would be even worse. But after that, I was like, okay, let me look at the best paddles to buy. I was very close to getting an Onyx thing. I'm really glad I didn't. Google search for like best pickleball paddles is kind of interesting. It's always outdated a little bit. Or maybe like it's not a really good resource. Even more of a reason to look at MyPickleList. Because back then I was like top pickleball paddles out or something, right? And then it would always be like the Onyx Z5, whatever. That one was horrible. Well, not horrible, but it was outdated. And then I think after doing some more deeper research, I realized that also back then I cared a lot about money. I didn't want to spend that much money on pickleball. Despite what people do nowadays, they just buy the $300 Yolas and stuff like it's nothing. But yeah, I was trying like best bang for your buck, budget pickleball paddle. And then they recommended Vatic at the time. Ooh. That does not look good. I probably took off the NFC chip. Okay, that's step one. Step one of doing your paddle is taking off the stock grip. Now we can add the ethos grip. Your carbon use makes sense with the heavier swing weight on the gearbox. Yeah, the gear. So I was liking the gearbox for the most part, but I will say their sponsorship was just a little bit lackluster. Like at the time, I think I didn't make content yet, so that's probably a big reason. But the package they gave me was just one paddle plus, a what's it called? Like a gift package, and it was like a bag, some shirts, like 3 shirts, some random stuff. Then as I did more content, they were like, "Oh, we like your content." They never reposted me or anything, or never collabed with me, but they're like, "Oh, we like your content. Here's another package." Specifically, that was one guy that ran some stuff. So, I mean, me and him are cool, but as a company, I guess they didn't really, give me much. So that's when I started looking for other places, and then I think Carbon just came out with like the True Foam at the time, or like was like hinting at it, and I was like, oh, full like foam paddle. Because at first Carbon was like, oh, they had the 1X, a little too old technology compared to a gearbox. But after I heard they made a foam paddle, I was like, okay, let me reach out to them to see, if they want to do anything. And they did, so that's why I'm with Carbon. What overgrip do you use? I use the new Carbon Dry Tech Overgrips Ultra Tack. I mean, I get it for free, so I think it's good. I'm not too picky with my overgrips as long as it's not like furry. My funniest story is one of my friends was like telling me like, I love my new overgrip. it just has a natural like leathery feel. And then I was like, this thing feels nasty. And then I realized he put the overgrip backwards, so it was like the furry part on the outside. And I was like, and then he's like, oh, that's my funniest story. Is it the Raphael guy or something? The CEO? But thanks for using my pickle list, Laquavius. It means a lot. We got a lot of new members actually. I think we have 100, 14 or something like that, and then we have 540, 570 ratings. So getting up there, I think. How many ratings do you think is accurate? I think right now it seems on the higher side, like the Yolas. I think 8 point something is probably a good number for them. I feel like that's accurate for the most part. Most people like them, which is why it's above 8. Don't know how many it needs to get like truly normalized. I guess that's more of a math statistics question, I guess. I think I do like Bodhi. I reached out to them before, and I think I am technically. They were going to send me a package or something, but they just never did. But I did reach out to Bodhi before, and they were supposed to give me something. I think at the time they were out of stock, and then I just followed up with them like maybe 3 or 4 times, and then they just never. They always like, oh, we're still waiting on our stock. Okay, back to what I was doing. Did I finish my paddle story? Oh yeah, that's how I got to the Vatic. So yeah, after researching on the best paddles, I got to Vatic. And that's basically it. Okay, I don't know if I have my Vatic anymore. My original Flash. Maybe I gave it to my mom or something. I don't know where it is. Okay, I got Vatic. Then I won a league when it first came out, a UTR league. Got a Power Air. I tried to like it so much, which is what stems my hatred for the Power Air right now. I was like, this thing is so cool because it was like that was the only like $250 paddle out, was the most expensive one at the time, and I was like, it has to be good. Lots of power, like, but then it was just like the sweet spot was so bad, especially at like that 3.5, 4.0 level. Not when you're consistent yet. I was just like edging the ball every. My ball was just going straight into the ground. I added a weight, made it a little better, but I tried to like it so much. I tried to main it, but ended up realizing that I'm better with other paddles. But luckily, I was able to trade the Power Air to my friend who actually put the overgrip backwards for a double black diamond, which was the most popular paddle at the time, I feel like. And then and this other Engage, like old Engage Pursuit with like the black, sold the Engage for 100. So basically got, the Power Air is probably 250. Plus I got a double black diamond, which was like 160, and then $100. So I got my value. That's all I gotta say. Hello. I can't read. I need to change the name. Leo Junior Silao. What do I think about the standard B&B Loco? I didn't get a good play session with it. I played with it maybe 2 games. My friends in stock version or stock setup. I didn't instantly love it or anything. I felt like it popped a lot. I don't like poppier paddles for the most part. Like if it's too much pop, I can't. I don't feel like I can like reset it consistently well or drop. I'm just used to more dwell time like carbon, true foams, and like I can play with any Gen 4 paddle other than the boomstick like pretty well. Okay, maybe even the boomstick I can play decently well, but anything like a J2NF, the Engage Pro Foam and stuff like that, I can play like easy with stock form, just no no warm up. I can just play. No drilling. I can just play pretty well. But yeah, the B&B Loco might be a little too poppy for me on first take, on my first impression. But I would definitely want to play with it again just to give a good review on it. And you like maybe use a setup or anything. But my friend didn't like it and he sold it. Is there a way to make an account on MyPickleList or stay signed in? I guess I should say. You don't have. You can make an account. I don't know. Do you have Google? Do you have a Google account? You can just use Google SSO to sign in. I think you have an account, right? But stay signed in. I don't know. I don't know what I made for the how long it takes to sign out. But I feel like I'm always signed in on my account, so not sure. I'll you can message me and I'll look into it more. But I feel like I stay signed in for the most part on my pickle list. The Tesla, is it plaid? Like the Tesla plaid paddle? Is that what it's called? But yeah, the Tesla plaid paddle. I think it looks interesting, but I feel like everyone now knows that edgeless paddles are not as good. Like edgeless paddles were so like popular back in the day, but I think finally, like this past like 6 months, people realized that it wasn't as good. So I'm not sure why they did it. Maybe they just wanted to make it look cooler. I guess they look cooler for whatever reason. And yeah, I heard that it was all court. According to my Discord, this guy in my Discord told me that people said it was all court and insane spin. I mean, all court is kind of like, it's kind of hard to tell because some people consider all court like if you consider a regular True Foam Genesis as all court, like I think most people will say it's all court leading power, but if it's just pure all court, then maybe it might not be enough power for most people to actually like it. I feel like people only like powerful paddles or like at least all court leading power paddles. But that insane spin might be might make a lot of people like it. It is USAP approved or whatever, or is it both? That would be interesting. The most spin of any paddle. That could be a selling point. But yeah, assuming from what I've heard, it has the most spin of of almost all paddles, and it's all court. I just don't think an all court paddle will make people actually like stuff. It has to have at least low tier power for people to actually like it, in my opinion, or the mass markets. But I mean, you can't. Crazy spin is always good. I think that's. And if it lasts, actually, then yeah, it's a good paddle. But given that it has no edge guard, looks kind of power airish, I don't have high hopes on the sweet spot. Especially since, yeah, I don't have a high hopes on the sweet spot. If I got my hands on one, I would definitely like to try it, but I don't expect it to be a good paddle. Maybe just maybe crazy spin, but you'd have to mod it or something because it just looks like a power air, kind of, with the edge, no edge guard. 99-98 Spurs. I hope the Spurs win. I'm always down to see a new GOAT in Wemby if he does well. Hopefully he can be that guy. So far, so good. Better than most people expected. What's your top paddle you recommend for doubles/shape? Um, I'm not a elongated guy. I feel like the sweet spot is worse. And what's it called? you don't really need the extra reach, I guess, in doubles. My main thing is I like to minimize my errors, at least unforced errors, I guess. And if the shape, if I can choose a different shape, like hybrid or like standard shape, and because of the better sweet spot, then I'm just gonna pick that over my extra power or reach from an elongated shape paddle. So that's my main recommendation. But obviously, it depends on the paddle, right? Like for example, my Carbon 2 True Foam Waves, I did not like as much. I didn't think the sweet spot was that much better than my Carbon 4, and I just not playing as well. So instead of, I could probably like invest the time into finding the right setup, but I don't got unlimited time, so just gonna stick with what I already like, and I felt like it was pretty good. I just get booted a lot from MyPickleList. Also, do you see yourself making an app? Because it would be awesome. I think eventually I would make an app. There is some like app fees, like probably $100 for like an Apple creator. Are you Apple? Or iOS, or are you like Android? Because I use Apple, so I would probably make Apple first. But I would see myself making a app for it. I think I'm just trying to get the community there first, or at least enough users there, since I think that's what's most important at right now, just to get the data there. Because hope my goal for it is to just make it like everyone's like kind of using it to determine what paddles are good or not, so then it's more accurate. And because right now, a bad score can probably influence quite significantly most paddles. Maybe not the Pro 4 like Perseus, but every other paddle, one bad score can already like derail it. So just want to get to a point where there's enough ratings from those outliers. But yeah, I can't tell if you get. Wait, actually, I don't think I get booted that much in general. So maybe. Are you using Google? I guess you can just talk to me off this. I guess off the chat about it specifically. But yeah, I think I'll like to get the result for you. If you buy it, would you make a video reviewing it? Are you talking about the Tesla plaid paddle? I'm assuming. Okay, you are. I mean, I didn't buy one because I didn't even know about it. I just, I think I literally heard about it like later than most people because someone told me like, "Oh, have you heard?" Like I was playing at the gym, like at Lifetime, and my friend came up to me like, "Have you seen the new Tesla plaid paddle?" I'm like, or the Tesla paddle. And I was like, "What is that? I never heard of that." The soccer collab, like they just told me it's a soccer collab. But yeah, I did not hear about it at all, and I think I was just not on Instagram or something, so I didn't see any posts. And then I think someone said it got sold out in 2 hours, so I would not have gotten it anyways. But I wasn't planning on getting it. But that is a good point. I could probably do content on it. I could probably be a little bit more spendy and buy stuff for content. I was wondering getting J2 FC or B&B Loco, not sure, though I like poppy paddles. Well, if you like poppy paddles, um, well, I think the J2 FC Plus, haven't played with it, but I think in general it should play more control oriented, I guess. It's power, but I think it's more of like a consistent paddle like a True Foam, maybe like a better True Foam or like upgraded one with more power and maybe less weight needed. But the B&B Loco is probably more powerful. I think it's on the popular side. So it depends on what you need. If you like having fun and just hitting balls hard, then maybe the B&B Loco is better. Cuz some people are like that. Some people just like hitting balls as hard as they can. But if you want something a little bit more, Actually, I don't know because people do stand by their locos. I can't. I mean, I haven't main reviewed it, so I can't say. But I would imagine that the J2 FC would be easier to use. So it depends on that. But if you already like Poppy, then Loco's already good. People do like the Loco, so I can't think you can't go wrong. Actually, let's check my pickle list to see what the ratings are. I doubt people rated the FC much. So let's search J2F. Okay, the J2FC is rated a 7.75 with 4 ratings, no comments. It's got a 6, a couple 8s, and a 9. And let's see, the other paddle was the Loco. And I think you mean the standard. The Loco Hybrid is 8.33 with 3 ratings. The Loco Standard is 8 with 8 ratings. And I got a comment on the Hybrid. Great paddle, fun to use. I haven't added weights with it yet. Don't feel like the need for it. Paddle feels like it hits like a boomstick, but a bit below in power. So, and then the standard shape. Shorter handle can be annoying for some. Good power, but very muted paddle. Weaker version of the boomstick. This paddle definitely packs a punch. 100% no dwell time, but if you're okay with that, you can control it. You are a monster. Okay, so I guess there's a negative review there, but the elongated is rated 7.83 out of 10 with 6 ratings. Pop and power are really good. Only bad thing about it is the sweet spot is just okay. Top-notch power and control for elongated paddle. Longer handle as well. One of the best paddles I've used. One styled in great control and power. So based on that, it seems like the Loco's ratings are a little better. Actually, one thing to note is I did hear the hybrid's a little easier to play with according to my Discord. So maybe that could be a factor depending on your skill level. What's your current skill level? Leo. Because if you're... Yeah, I guess it depends on your skill level and what you're trying to accomplish. Because I've heard that the hybrid is better. And based on the ratings, it is better, but not enough input to make it, 100% sure. Oh, you're new. And you like poppy paddles. Okay, what's your current paddle that you use, and do you like it? Overall, I don't know. I feel like my gut is telling me that for you to use the J. Actually, I don't even know the J2FC though. I don't know how poppy it is, but I don't think you want a paddle that's super poppy, because I think the best way to reset, especially for beginners, is just stick your paddle out and like hold it still, let the ball bounce, and then reflect, and then that's how I reset right now. Right, I just hold my paddle out. On backhand, you should use 2 hands. Actually, I realized that that's a lot more effective. And just like hold your paddle out, let it bounce, let the ball like bounce into it, and it resets over. That's just very consistent to reset. So if it's too poppy, then when you do that, it's just gonna fly up. Then you have to go into like managing your grip pressure and stuff. So I think you can go power, just don't go too poppy. But using Amazon paddle. Okay, bro. If you're using Amazon paddle, then any paddle is good. But yeah, I would say, well, I don't know. I don't. I don't. I haven't played with either to know for sure, but I guess I did hear a sweet spot issue on the Loco, so what's it called? I don't think that's the best for beginners. I think you want to maximize your sweet spot. Maybe you can add tape, lead tape. But yeah, I think recommend you one. Okay, I'll try. I will go J2 NF. I think that's a little bit. I think that'll be better for a beginner. That's my final take. I think the Loco is just too poppy, and I think you'll hit too many out stuff. You hit stuff out and high. That's my final take. I think you can't go wrong with a lot of paddles. It's up to personal preference and feel. I think you're a little probably too new to know what feel you like, so that's probably the thing, right? Oh, I said I if I had to pick one, I would pick the J2 NF for you. I just think it probably will be have a better sweet spot and a little bit less poppy and better for resets and stuff, which is more important for you. Like I would prefer you to, reset lower and just practice like sticking on your paddle, like resetting the ball versus it being too poppy and you're just gonna like pop out. If you really care about hitting the ball hard, then maybe the Loco. But for you to play better, I think the J2 FC. From what I've heard, I haven't played with either, so I don't know. But yeah, I think okay, this is your first real paddle, so honestly, you probably don't know a lot of your feel stuff. So once you main that paddle, whatever you choose, then you kind of know if you want something more poppy or not. But yep, that's it. If it's poppy, how do you reset? The poppier your paddle, right? You probably have to manage your paddle angle or your grip pressure. So right now, I don't really have to modify my grip pressure that much. I'm just like normal. I'm just like kind of in the same grip pressure, and then I just like get my paddle out. It resets pretty well, like for the most part, and that's just how I get by, right? But if you use something too poppy, then you probably just have to either angle it differently, but this is just a little less margin for error, right? You angle it a little higher, then it's gonna go over more, But then if you angle it this way, it might just hit into the net or something. But yeah, it's just a lot of drilling, right? Just drill your resets. Have some stand in the back or in like the mid court or back. Have your partner try to like hit force at you, and you just try to like get your paddle there and get the reset. But yeah, I think you'll have fun with either paddle you choose. Coming from an Amazon paddle. Sorry, I had a someone asked about the Inferno. Sorry, I had a long tangent there. I have not tried the Inferno. I do want to try it one day. It was rated pretty high on my pickle list, so that is very encouraging as a paddle. I thought it would be $100 too, but it's actually like 230, so a little different price range, but from the Canon that was like kind of popular at one point. But yeah, I do want to try the Inferno. I heard it's just powerful, and I don't know what makes it. Let me look at. Let's see what people say about it. I know one comment is like it's a better Pro 4. Oh, it actually lost its rating. It's only 8.5 out of 10 now. It was like pretty close to 9. Power paddle, good for spin with gritty surface. It's also a very light paddle. If sound is important to you, it makes a deep noise when it hits the ball. All around pretty decent. This paddle is great with the new Gen 4 core, but still gives you a ball feel of a Gen 3 paddle with plush feel for resets, dinks, and ability to shape your shots. Did not know it's Gen 4, but that's more enticing, actually. I'll be interested in playing with it, because I do like Gen 4 paddles. This is the best feeling Gen 4 paddle I've used. Actually like this more than the B&B Loco. This is my current main and one of the best paddles I ever used, and I used a lot. The sweet spot is on this covers the whole face, it seems. I have 4 grams on the throat, and the power and pop on this is amazing. Highly recommend. And that's from someone I know personally. So, and he does use a lot of paddles. So, that's a pretty good review. He uses like all like gearboxes and ripples, stuff like that. So, this is definitely something that's on my list. I've always played with a wide body paddles and know how to set them up with weight. Just ordered the new 60 Coral Hybrid and wanted to know how you would set up a hybrid paddle. I set up my 4 the same way as my like wide body. I don't think I think my same general like philosophy behind it is the same. I just want to widen the sweet spot more with the weight here and not, get too much like top heaviness, which is why I put it here. I mean, I guess if you really want to enlarge the sweet spot, maybe the middle is the best, like the boomstick setup, but that could get heavy. I find this pretty good. I care more about my sweet spot over here. Like if I hit here and it dies, sure, right? But I don't want to hit here. Like when I reset, if the ball usually comes here versus here, so I care more about the sweet spot over here. If you get what I'm saying. So that's why I kind of prioritize this spot versus the very top. But on this paddle, for example, on the 4 waves, I felt very dead towards the top without these weights here, which is why I added them. So now it's a little heavy, but that's the reason. Still Shot Media LLC. Loco is goaded. I see. Which loco do you have? And do you want to sell the idea of a loco to Leo? Because Leo is looking for a paddle. I'm getting the Inferno in 2 days. What's up, TJ? That is very exciting. I need a Capo Loco. I reached out to Luz, but I got no response. I know some sponsored Luz players, so maybe I'll reach out to them to see if they can give me a connection. Why are these paddles so pricey though? Yep. I mean, if you care about price, I can recommend you some paddles. Just let me know. But yeah, I think the days that I don't think it was ever $30 and call it a day at that level. But yes, that would be nice if it was that much. If it was that cheap. But if it was that cheap, I guess there would be no like pickleball companies because they would make no money. What's your main paddle right now? Well, my whole point of this video was supposed to be me setting up my new paddle, but I used the Carbon 4 waves. And I have a new version right here. And long story short, the sweet spot's a little bad on my current one. But that's why I have so much weight on it, as you can see. But yeah, the sweet spot's a little bad, but with my weight setup, it got better, and I played pretty well against some pro players the other day. So gonna continue using this as my main. A little more power to my True Foam Genesis, and I think I struggle with power a little bit, so could use the power. But apparently, there's a rumor that the new, the new batch of the waves is better. So I have one right here because this was before it released, and so it's definitely not a new batch. So hopefully I'll try this other paddle out and see if it is any better. Okay, it was long. I guess no more questions as of now. Well, you can ask more questions, but I don't have any new questions in. But yeah, Leo, if you want me to, I can recommend some budget paddles if you care about price. I just thought you did not care about price because you gave 2 recommendations, or you had 2 people, you had 2 paddles you already want to consider. Okay. We have a Ethos grip right here. If you want an Ethos grip, you can use code Pickle Li on Ethos. But essentially, these are like cores, I guess, an undergrip. They kind of make your you see a normal paddle looks like kind of like this is a normal paddle, and this is the Ethos grip, so it's a little more grooved. You can find your grips a little better, but the main thing is like you reduce vibrations, which I don't really care about too much because I don't have tennis elbow. But my main thing is I like the feel of it better. You kind of feel your grips, so I can know where I'm at. Because I'm in Eastern most of the time, so I like have a comfortable Eastern grip and then switching to Continental and finding it again. But that's the big reason. And it adds a weight, so it also lowers the balance point. It's okay. I need to get a Super Saiyan paddle, no budget. Well, budget does not. Price of the paddle does not always make it good. I think I think the budget paddles out right now are very good. You could definitely play well. Like I could probably play just as well with those budget paddles, but up to you. I think the main thing you're kind of sacrificing with a budget paddle is maybe customer support and stuff like that. They probably don't have as long warranties, and maybe the customer support is worse, I guess. So that's what you're paying for, I guess. But yeah. So first up with the Ethos, I like to cut off the extra part. So I usually cut right above the ending part. So we'll do that right now. Okay, cut it off. Got it straight enough. I borrowed someone's Vatic Power or something. I liked it. I do think the Vatic Pro VSOL is the newest thing. They have the Power version, the Pro version. I've heard the VSOL Pro is better, according to my friend who had it, and I did play with the paddle, and it was very good. But apparently, you need a specific setup to make it really good. So that's the one thing. It's a little bit more research, I guess. Okay, I'm going to add this Ethos grip onto the paddle now. I took off the tape and stuff to make it even easier. This is probably the hardest part of this whole process because it's not the easiest. They used to give me the little sticks, but YOLO. Honestly, Loco really is great if you truly used to that Gen 3 power. So went from a Luz cannon to the Loco, and it was super easy transition. Loco is more powerful than the Gen 3s. Oh, interesting. So Loco is more powerful than a Pro 4, you would say? Maybe it was. It was definitely more poppy. So maybe that's equivalent. Are grips important to improve your game? What grips are you talking about? Are you talking about over grips, under grips, or the grips you hold your paddle in? That is the question. But to answer, I guess I can just go ahead and answer them. Over grip, no. Under grip, no. Grip you're using, I think can help. But I don't think it would define your game. Well, I think there's probably a wrong answer for some scenarios, but I'm assuming you're using Continental. Is that correct? If you're using Continental, okay, overgrip is one of these things. And they just kind of make your grip. Most people don't like the stock grip of the paddle, or at least when they use it too much, it'll get like not tacky. So yes, I don't think those matter too much in your game. Oh, under grip is what I'm putting on right now. It just kind of changes the feel of your grip. I don't think that matters too much in the grand scheme of things. This is not looking good. This was the first time I put it on like this. And still shot media, patiently waiting for Pickle Li to turn to the dark side. Elongated master race. I do not think it's the master race. I'll be my standard slash hybrid shape elitist over here. I think the elongated shape people are just too basic. They all like the same paddles, you know. You're in that group that just all buy the Pro Fours and then they just hit every ball out and they cannot reset. That is what I think about when I think about elongated shaped players. But obviously, you know, the pros use elongated and stuff and whatnot. That being said, maybe they're like that too. Maybe they care about the shape. But I over here do not care about the looks too much. I don't even think they look so ugly. This does not look ugly in my opinion. Well, this is a hybrid. This doesn't look that ugly to me. This one guy always says that elongated paddles look so much better. And I'm just like, it's just a paddle, bro. They look the same. I use continental in the kitchen and I use Western Eastern in the serve. Or Western and semi-Western in the serve. I mean, you already, for 3-5 player, you already are pretty. I think you know more than I did when I started playing at 3-5. But yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty good. What do you use in transition, or like what do you use for the third shot? Are you still in Western, semi-Western, or are you in Continental? I think you are correct in using. I think semi-Western and Western is the right choice for a serve. Maybe even the ideal choice. I didn't play around with semi-Western grips or anything, Western grips, so I can't even do one probably. So I use Eastern. I use Eastern for the most part, maybe even sometimes in the kitchen to add extra topspin on my dinks, on my forehand dinks. And I've been just playing. I had a bad habit and did that my whole time playing pickleball basically, because when I first started, people were like, Eastern gets more topspin, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna use Eastern. So I used Eastern for everything, and that was probably the wrong decision because it compromised my flicks. Because when you're in Eastern, like this, oh wait, like this, right? When you're in Eastern, your rolls and flicks are like more like straight up, versus if you're in like Continental, your rolls and flicks are like slanted, and when you switch grips, they're even more, right? So I realized that too a little late. So that's why my flicks were never too good. And I think I eventually started switching grips for flicks in particular, and it worked pretty well. I experimented with Continental in the kitchen the whole time and without switching grips, and then it was okay. But I think I landed on. I'm gonna try to be in Continental for most, volleys, just to make it even on both sides, or like make it, hit down at least on most part. But on when I have more time, I definitely switch to past Eastern or past Continental, and then I get extra, dip. Okay, finally I have my Ethos undergrip on. Now, oh, I forgot to weigh my paddle. I guess people don't care at this point. It's too late. I'm up in North Georgia, only two indoor courts. Where would you suggest playing in Atlanta? So you would drive down into Atlanta to play. That is quite the drive. I mean, I have memberships at, oh, I go to Lifetime Peachtree Corners. I wouldn't recommend it for like a one-time thing. So I'm not sure. If you're trying to go indoor, I think Ace is always has open play. This place called Planet Pickle also has open play. So those are probably your best bets for just like if you just want to come down to play at any time. Because Lifetime has open play too, but it's kind of you have to sign up and stuff. So and then the day passes are more expensive at Lifetime. I think Planet Pickle is 25 an hour, or 20 no not an hour, $25 for a guest pass. I might work with them soon. We'll see. I just messaged them about getting sponsored, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think they had the cheapest open play as of now that I know of, and they always have open play. Yeah. Other than that, you probably want to set up a game. If you want to set up a game, then it's a little easier. You have more options, or maybe not even that more options. There's not that many places that have reservations indoors. I guess MTP more than pickleball, but yeah, I'm assuming you're playing open play, and I would say probably Planet Pickle is a little cheaper in Dons Creek, right where I live, and Ace is always a good spot. Maybe a little pricier though for the member one time pass. If you talk about a membership, that's a little different, but I'm not sure. Spurs win. Nice. So now the Spurs are in the final, the what's it called, the NBA Cup Finals, and the Thunder lost. Who went off in that game? Okay, next step, I'm going to add my Dry Tech Overgrip. This is the Ultra Tech version. Use code Pickle Li on carbon stuff. Or I mean, this is the Ultra Tech version. So they used to came up. They originally had a medium tack. Now they have a ultra tack, which is just tackier. I think tacky overgrips are better, in my opinion. So that's why I like using. I go continental or eastern. I think in the middle, but for sure I end up continental in kitchen that I know. I think you have the right idea. I mean, do you have any trouble switching between grips? But from what I hear, it seems like you already know what to do. Better than what I knew at your level. So I think you're good to go on grips. You know what you need to know. The main thing is the eastern and westerns just have more top spin potential, a little better for your third shots and serves, stuff like that. Continental is a little bit more balanced, which is probably good for the kitchen since you need to have a forehand and backhand pretty good. Eastern might pop up your forehands too much, unless you get good at manipulating your wrists, or like yeah, like this. Eastern. Honestly, I think you should practice switching grips in the kitchen too. I think that helps me, or that's what I currently do, and I found it pretty good. Okay, let's see how fast I can do an overgrip. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I don't want to mess it up though. Maybe it was a bad idea. You guys can see if I'm a noob at putting on overgrips. I like doing the pro way of ripping it off. Makes me feel like a pro that doesn't care about making it neat. Okay. This is my least favorite part, having to put on this tape, because it doesn't seem like it's the right side, at least for how I do it. I tried another paddle in which the overgrip had white lines. Interesting. You said something else. Let me read that in a second. Let me just put this on. Okay. Overgrip added. So we have the undergrip on and the overgrip on. Looks nice and fresh compared to this guy. I also tried another paddle which the overgrip had white lines, like a white line in the middle of the tape. I mean, it felt weird. So are you saying like on this it had a white line like going like through the middle of the line? I never saw that before. Do you have like a picture or a link or name of it? This is kind of interesting. This is very tacky actually. Okay, I have an Ultra Tech. Yeah, I don't know. That seems like kind of a weird thing. Don't know what the purpose of that is. All right, next step. We're gonna add some. Okay, I guess next step we can add the flick weight. I am a cheap guy at heart, and I'm not gonna waste perfectly good flick weights. I actually found the flick weights to be very removable and reusable. So I'm gonna use this other one. So just took it off real easily right here. A little bent, but it's okay. And then gonna add it on the bottom of this guy. And on the copper ones, on my other paddle, on my demo paddles, or like the paddles I review on, I probably use that flick weight maybe 30 times now, and it's still sticking. So that's the good part about flick weights. I like it's just a lot faster than adding a slice cap or whatnot. I know slice has their own kind of weight like this, but I'll support the original. I think flick weight's the original. So now we have a bear. My old paddle was bear. Okay. Now time to. Where's my little thing? Do you guys like the little rubber band thing? Where'd it go? Oh, it's right here. I actually don't know. Maybe it's nicer to without the rubber band. I don't know. What do you guys think? I just do it because it comes with it, but I heard some people don't like it, and then they just take it off. I guess I don't notice that much in general, so maybe it's just whatever. Next step, we're adding some lead tape on the sides. I guess I could add it, take this one off, but I'll get a new one. Do I play pickleball every day? I do not play every day. I probably play 4 to 5 times a week, maybe 5. Yeah, 5. 5. I would play pickleball every day, but the thing the main reason I wouldn't play every day is I usually hang out with my girlfriend some days, so that takes up the day. But if I have the opportunity, I try to play in the mornings, but not everyone is a morning person, so it might be hard to get games set up. Today I went to an open play, an advanced 4.0 plus open play. I know the guy that runs it at the Alpharetta Lifetime, so it was good. I got paired in some good games the whole time. Because it's sometimes hit or miss at 4.0 plus. It's kind of hard to know who for sure is a 4.0. And there's some people who just like targeting your partner the whole time, and then I don't get too annoyed, but it's just kind of a waste of time if they just hit my partner and they miss up every time. But it's part of the game, I guess. I'm used to it. I used to get more annoyed. Now I just kind of practice my own thing, but it's still not as ideal. At that point, I would just drill. But yeah, long story short, um, I probably play 5 days a week on average. I think if I do get a different membership to Planet Pickle or something with open play at all times, I would play more because I can just go in the morning. But for example, if there's a day that I don't have a game set up in the morning and I'm already hanging out with my girlfriend, then I probably wouldn't play that day. But she started her new job, so I'll have more free time to play. Anyways, we have the tungsten tape right here. I'm gonna measure out 3 grams, logo to logo. I guess it doesn't matter too much. Let me just wait. Let me just measure it. And yes, I don't play singles. I'm rated 5-1 in singles, but I only played 1-4-5 tournament and won, which is why I got my rating. I'm not that good. I am not the best. I think my strength is placing shots because I can place pretty well, like drop and whatnot. I'm just not good at hitting big serves or returns, which is the main part about singles. Okay, let me try to cut this. Okay, cut one. Oh, that was unfortunate. It was not straight at all. But it is what it is. But yeah, regarding singles, I don't hit my serve or return the best. Working on it, but that's not my natural strength. And I feel like that matters so much in singles. And doubles is just what I play more and I'm better at, so I just continue trying to get better at that. And no one plays singles much in general in my area. It's just all doubles. But when someone challenges me, I usually say yes. And I usually do okay unless they train singles. Okay. Now let me measure my tape and try to cut off another strip. Okay. Okay, hopefully we have 2 identical strips now. So we have here look pretty identical, so that's good. Now time to add it on the paddle. So I typically do it right above the curve. Okay, actually let me weigh how much this is. Okay, got my trusty scale right here. 1 ounce, 1.1 ounce, so that's probably like 3 point something grams. Okay. I don't know. I kind of, this sounds pretty good. I do want to notice if the sweet spot's better. Does anyone remember how much better PV Studios said the new batch's sweet spot is? Because if it's like significantly better, then maybe I don't even need the tape on top. But if it's just slightly better, then probably the weight on top would help. I don't think anyone knows, perhaps. So I'll start off with my normal weight above the curve. I think I did a little bit longer this time. I did try that, and it did not work because she's a little bit on the shyer side, and she does not like playing with random people. And one time, I kind of forced her to play with random people. I was like, "It'll be fun. We can just," and I just signed up, and then she played with, and then she got mad at me. So that is the reason. And I'm not gonna force her anymore. So that is why I don't play with her. And she's not a very athletic slash active person in general. Like she's not doesn't go to the gym or anything. Doesn't do much sports. And honestly, I think it's there's pros and cons. Like if your girlfriend, okay, here's the scenarios that I imagine. So scenario one, your girlfriend, especially in this case, my girlfriend would be a 3-0 or below, probably below. So I could play every day, but if I were to play with her, then I would have to play some 3-0 and below games, and it's just not going to be valuable court time, I would say. Like if I'm just playing games where the balls are just getting like hit super high every time, that wouldn't be even good games to begin with, right? And I would feel bad if I were to just like crush these 3-0s. Scenario two is maybe my girlfriend's a little better. Well, I guess that's my current scenario, so I think in theory it would be better for me to just not play with her in general, which currently I do and I enjoy it, so that's good. But I guess there's other scenarios where your girlfriend is just perhaps worse than you, maybe not 3-0 and below level. Maybe let's say you're a 4-5 and she's like a 3-5. I think you'll still have that scenario to an extent of maybe she's just like you playing like 3-5 games instead of 4-5 games, but it can still be fun, because you can kind of carry enough against like maybe 4-0s or whatnot. So I guess that at that scenario, it's a little bit better. And then the final scenario is if your girlfriend is better than you, or just as good, if not better. So in that scenario, maybe she wouldn't play with you because maybe she'll play less with you because you know guys want mixed partners, but there's less high level girls, so they'll probably get invited to those games, and then you just get left alone. She's better than Kwong Dunk scenario. Yeah, that'll be. I guess you get the good thing is you get some coaching, but the bad thing is you wouldn't even play with her to begin with. So maybe it's the reverse scenario for her. She's like, well, I had to play with him, but I'm not getting good practice playing with him, and then it's the reverse scenario. But yeah, I don't know. I know this one. I know this one guy. He has his girlfriend. Hopefully, he's not watching this, but he has a girlfriend that may or may not be better than him, but definitely better than him in comparison to other girls in the area versus him of other guys in the area. So she could probably play up with the better partner. That's all I gotta say. But I think he probably doesn't like that or doesn't want that, so she never does. So I guess that's just another scenario you have to deal with. I guess you have to work it out with your partner. But yeah, I guess there's no easy answer, I guess, to that question. There's just pros and cons of each scenario. And I find my scenario a little not too bad. I think there is just times where it's kind of weird. Like if I were to play, I don't play too much mixed in general, but if I'm like spending all my time with just mixed, like some other girl, then she's probably like, "What are you doing? Why are you playing this close with a girl with this other girl?" Because she doesn't understand pickleball. But I don't care about mixed too much. I play mixed here and there with some married people. Well, all in all, no complaints from me. I'm not the best at mixed anyways. I don't take up the much. I'm not used to ball hogging as much as in mixed. So, yeah. How long did it take for you to go from 3-3-3-5 to 4-0? I think that's a pretty quick, you know, jump. Because I imagine 3-5s is like, well, I think the definition of 3-5 kind of changes, but at the time, well, still, I think if you look at the little chart that originally came out, it's like if you can consistently drop into the kitchen, you're a 3-5. Which at the time when I was a 3-5, I was doing that, but everyone else wasn't doing that. They were not hitting consistent shots. And then 4-0 is like you can definitely, hit a shot into the kitchen and then, blah blah blah. I think the best way to determine what level you are is just by playing a tournament and seeing if you can get a good result or not. If you play 4-0 and you lose in the first, like you lose 2 games straight, then maybe you're not 4-0 unless everyone else is sandbagging. But for this scenario, I'm just gonna consider like 3-5 is that you kind of know how to play, you know the general strategy, but you probably can't get stuff, consistently in or like a good result. I think a lot of it is what I realize is a lot of it is like IQ, right? So I think for you, for example, I mean, you can just So what's the main reason you're losing right now? That's the question. Because a lot of people will think it's like their shots and just practice, dropping and whatnot, which I think is important to practice those things. But even now, I see players who just at that 4-0, borderline 4-0 level, that just don't have the best IQ. For example, I told this one guy, he was being like those cross court bots. They just like hitting the ball like cross court every single time as angled as they can, and they just like top spin or like heavy slice it cross court. Well, that's not the best scenario most of the time because unless the ball is super dead, if they're hitting cross court super angled at you and you try to go back angled back at them, your ball is probably gonna be high and or like it's just not gonna go in, right? It's hard to hit that like a softer shot into the kitchen, right? It's gonna be either too high that someone can take it out of the air, or just too low and hit into the net. So in that scenario, you kind of want to go more middle, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. They just are like, I gotta slice it back, and then that's what I look for as a player right now. If I hit something over there, I see them hitting it cross court. I'm just like, okay, buddy, just take it out of the air, flick it at them, or whatnot. So stuff like that. It's like IQ things. So I could hit a bat, like I can just do zero, like I don't even have to have good shots, right? You can just hit the right spot and you should be good. So I think just practicing those kind of things can help a lot. Same with resetting. You don't want to reset. If you reset in front of you every single time, you just have less space to work with because you're like hitting into their kitchen spot right there versus hitting it across. You have a lot more like distance to work with, stuff like that, and you have less time to react if it's in front of you versus to the cross where your partner has can go up a little bit and then like make up some space. I say my kitchen. I sometimes can't react fast enough, and sometimes I hit the net when I return if the person has a power serve. Also, drop shots. Sometimes I whiff it. So for your scenario, oh, also the same thing with IQ is if you understand like the kitchen patterns and like speed ups and whatnot, and what to look for, like how to recognize a dead dink. Like I thought that was pretty self-explanatory, or I thought like that was common sense. But when I was like, someone in the comments of one of my shorts was like, "Oh, that's not common sense for most beginners. They can't tell what's a dead dink or not." And I was like, "Oh, haven't thought about that." Like I'm a little removed from being a beginner for a while because I've been playing for like 2.5 years. So it's been a while since I was a 3-0, 3-5. But yeah, I think just recognizing those things, getting ready to counter, knowing what likely spots they're gonna speed up are. I don't know if 3-5s. Yeah, I guess 3-5s and 3-5s kind of speed up a lot. Like if the ball is, it's hard to explain, but there's a lot of stuff like that. I probably made a video on it somewhere on those kind of things. But yeah, anticipation is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about your kitchens can't react fast enough. So you just have to look at where the ball is on the court compared to yourself, and then what kind of like things to look for. So for example, okay, since you don't understand it or since you don't do it currently, I can give a quick explanation. So let's say, I don't have a good. I'll use my brother's little amiibo things. So he has a Pyramithra right here. Okay, this is kind of jank. Okay, we have a kitchen line right here. So let's say they're playing on. Let's say they're playing on the left side, right? Or you are the white one, Mithra, I think, and this, right? If the ball is, okay, this little Mofusana thing is the ball. If the ball is here, right, and you are the white one right here, you mainly cover, you mainly hold like neutral. You expect the speed up down the line because that's the harder one to get, and then like counter it there. You could even consider. Actually, I probably won't say that, but yeah, you want to kind of lean towards backhand. If it comes on your body, so if it comes down the line, you backhand. If it comes at you, backhand. If it comes a little bit here, you can probably slide and backhand, and then if it comes too far, your partner should get it, but since you're at 3-5, they might not. So that's when you open up forehand. So depending on how good your partner is, you can either like sit backhand or sit neutral. But I would expect the down the line, and then the body you can kind of react. Then too far is probably your partner, or you can open up. So stuff like that, and there's that same scenario for when the ball is anywhere else. So like if the ball is in the middle, like the guy is speeding up from the middle, and you're on the left side, you kind of still sit neutral, right? But now if the ball comes through the middle and you see it, that's when you open up and hit it forehand. If it comes at your body, you backhand it. So that's why you're kind of in neutral. And if it comes past that, it's out of bounds. So stuff like that is where you have to kind of practice and keep into memory and kind of naturally get into the right positions. So you're probably not reacting to it because you're probably either like paddle down or like not even ready, right? You're just not expecting it. And then you're like, oh, the ball is over here now. And then I'm just like reacting to it. But when I'm playing, I'm expecting to speed up. And that's when recognizing a dead dink is important. So a dead dink is like when your partner just hits like a push and the ball is like really dead, just bounces high. That's when people typically speed up off the bounce. And then once you recognize that dink or just any dink, what the guy mentioned was just expect to speed up all the time. So whenever the ball's right there, just expect them to speed it up and then just stay ready. So that's better than the opposite where you're just not ready. So yeah, just think about those scenarios. There's the other side too, like the right hand side and stuff like that, but it's a little too long. But yeah, stuff like that. Just be prepared to know what kind of grip you should set into, and then how to like hit the other shots. But yeah, I have a video on it probably, so you can probably watch that. Or there probably is someone better than me to explain it that you can also watch. But that will help a lot. And if it's purely a reaction time and you do notice that you guess correct or you anticipate correctly and you're set up correctly, but you still get, hit, then the last resort would probably be when you see a deader dink and that you know they're going to speed up, you step back yourself like a step or two back from the line so you have more time to react. And if that's still not enough time, then you might need to work on reaction time. But that should be all your scenarios. Okay. Okay, let me put back these guys. Okay, hopefully that helped. But yeah, if you're not doing that, that is what I would recommend learning. I didn't see your other questions, but yes, I think once you play more and get used to the different counter strategies and like what to anticipate, that will help you get from like 3-5 to 4-0 and 4-0 and above. Because honestly, I think most 4-0s don't do that. At least the ones that I play with. I do a split step and I realize I become like Super Saiyan. I feel faster. Okay, I mean that's good. Split step is good. I don't intentionally split step. I definitely get ready. I don't have a natural split step. I didn't come from tennis, so still working on that. I probably do like a stutter step from basketball, but yeah, I think that's good. One time I was playing a tournament and I realized that getting low helped a lot. It was my first like real 3-5 tournament. First game I won maybe like 11-6. Second game I lost like 11-2. And the third game I was like, okay, I need to lock in. I got low and then I won like 11-0. And like, oh, I could have done that from the beginning. I could just like get low. I could hit everything out of the air. So getting low helps a lot on like a especially just like a easy cue. Bro, is this live like 1 a.m. Georgia time? What's up, Ethan? Yes, it is live. I was rambling for a long time and am still not finished setting up my paddle, but answering a lot of questions. How low? I would say at athletic stance. I don't think extremely low, but I probably was just standing like normal, like slightly bent knees, but then I was like getting low. Also, I think at that time people were like more droppy, so it was just a lot of like drops, and then getting low helped me get my ball low too. So that's what, and reach in a little bit better. But that was at 3-5, not I do think getting low helps you get ready for stuff too. But I think more so just anticipating the stuff better is what you should go. At least expect to speed up always, and then just practice learning how to sit on every scenario of where the ball is compared to yourself. Hope that helps. Okay, I guess the next part, we can wrap up my paddle setup. So I have a 3 gram strips on the corners. The sweet spot should be better on this thing. I I don't know if I want to add it or not. You know what? I will trust what the reviews say and believe that the sweet spot is better. So instead, I'm going to move it to the boomstick setup. So we're going to put it in the middle. Actually, I'll put it right at the carbon logos. So right at the carbon logo. Right here. We'll see how that goes. I think that's a good compromise of, like maximizing the sweet spot up top, which was my issue. Okay, we'll see how this goes. Let me compare the difference. Okay. This way, I do feel like the dead spot on the top was my issue, but hopefully this weight towards the middle-ish will help open that up, but also keep some here. Hopefully my weight on the bottom, like my flick weight and the grip, help this part. But we'll test this out. I'll trust the reviews online that the sweet spot's better on the new batch. But yeah, that's my setup. We got still a work in progress. Haven't tested it out, but we'll test out the following week or so the new setup of a 3 grams on 3 and 9 o'clock now, the Ethos undergrip, and a flick weight on the bottom, 7 grams. Got my weight over here. It comes to a total of 8.98 ounces. And my other one was probably... This is 8.8, but it has no more flick weight. So I think this is 9.2, 9.2, 9.3, and this one's 9 now. Okay, that sounds about right because each of the 3 gram strips are 1 gram. So 9.2 with the 2 on top makes sense. Okay, just under 9 ounces. That is probably a solid setup. Probably heavy for most people, but a lot of the weight's on the handle. And if you think about it like a hammer, it's easier to swing around if you're holding the head of it versus the handle because the weight's on your handle. Flick weight, what's that? So the flick weight is what I added on the bottom. The main thought process... Okay, back in the day, there was something called a slice cap, which was like... Let's pull up a picture. It's basically something that you add on the bottom of your handle that was like a whole like trend because it apparently... The theory is it makes the weight more towards your handle, which makes it easier to flick. But it also gets like, what's it called? More stability because it's just mixture weight and stuff. Let me see. So that's what. So if you can see, this kind of a slice cap. It's kind of. It's not a good picture. they look like that, right? They just add on the bottom, but slice caps involve like taking off the butt cap of your paddle and on most of them, and sometimes just adding it underneath the undergrip and stuff, or underneath the overgrip, maybe both. But then the flick weights are just like you can take them off pretty easily. They're like little coins that stick onto the bottom. Depends. So I do like those weights because I like being able to flick easier, and I like the weight being on the handle. So like I mentioned the hammer analogy, it's easier to flick if more of the weight's on the bottom. So if you care about flicks, then I would probably get one, or you know, if you want, I have a code Pickle Li for flick weights. But if you are on a budget, you can probably get away with wrapping lead underneath the handle. So in that scenario, you would rip off the stock grip and the stock grip. So just like this paddle right here, like rip off the stock grip, then you can add lead tape right here underneath. It should probably be a thinner lead tape. You don't want anything too thick. Like probably one of like these. Like something that looks like this, right? You want to wrap that on the bottom, and then you can add some weight. Add some weight on the handle. So that's your budget way of doing it. And then after that, you wrap 2 overgrips on. Yeah, probably 1 or 2 overgrips on. Yeah, probably 2 because you want to replace the stock grip and then add another overgrip on top of it. And then you'll have like a budget, flick weight. The one good part about a flick weight is like it's pretty reusable. Like I could take this off and put it back on something else pretty easily, versus having to do it manually with lead tape is a little bit more of a pain. And then you don't have to take off the grip or anything on the flick weights. But depends on your budget, right? If you convenience, how much you value that. But if you like lighter feeling paddles for flicking and stuff, then I would recommend trying that out at least. Maybe just put. Okay, the ghettoest version I've seen was someone got some tungsten tape and then cut it into a lot of squares, and they had a whole thing sticking on the bottom like this tall. And that was kind of nasty. Okay, that was a little too nasty for me. Like I wouldn't do that myself, but yeah, there's a lot of ways to just like try it before you buy one, right? Yes. Yeah, you can probably get a quarter or a dollar coin, something, whatever's heavy, right? Even multiple, right? You can put some sticky adhesive, maybe double-sided tape or something. Then put like a coin. I don't know how many grams a quarter is, or like a dollar coin. But I would say around 7 to 9 grams is what you're aiming for to feel a difference. Too little is probably not enough difference, and then too much just changes your whole paddle. Anyways, it's... Oh, interesting. Then maybe you can just go with a quarter. Just get some nice double-sided tape and then try it out. I think it's worth a try. But yeah, for you, Leo, I think you should get your paddle ASAP and get away from that Amazon paddle. That's my number 1 advice. You have a lot more fun from personal experience. Anyways, thank you, Leo, and everyone else for watching. I think I'll wrap it up here. Seems like a good stopping point. I'm going to try out my new setup right here for the upcoming weeks. Hopefully it's good. We'll see if the new batch of carbons is any better than the old ones. If you haven't already, check out my pickle list for the community-based paddle ratings. I'm trying to get a lot of reviews and ratings, so please add one if you haven't already. It means a lot. Also, join my Discord. You can post, paddle questions or gameplay questions, and me or someone else will answer it for you. Pretty good community there. And please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.